the one and only, the voice of the Lions, of course, the sports director at Fox 2, Dan Miller, agrees to join us on Fridays before game day. So let's welcome him in. First of all, Dan, always a pleasure to catch up with us. Thanks so much for joining us, pal.
Hey, Dan.
What's going on, guys?
Good morning, buddy.
Hey, first of all, before we start talking about this game, you guys have something new at Fox 2. I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about the sports office for people that aren't aware of what you're doing with that.
I'm not sure what we're doing, but we have a show every week at 8:00 on the Fox Local. Just download the Fox Local app, and we're doing something for half an hour. What it is, I'm not sure, but we've had a fun. We've had guests join us. We had Vincent Good last night. I went past a couple technical difficulties. Just friends. We got Wojo. We got Birchie dropping by. We're just talking sports for half an hour. Z from your days at Fox on.
Yes.
We got Deep Thoughts with Z on Thursday night, which is going to be a big segment. So it's fun. It's really just, they told us half an hour, and we said basically, okay, we'll do an hour, but we're going to whatever we want, and we're going to just throw things at all and see next. So it's basically multiple standing on the sport, so having fun, talking about stuff we're interested in, and just kind of good time. We've done 4 shows, so I'm still trying to figure out what the heck it is. When I figure it out. But it's been a good time, and we're looking forward to kind of just, like I said, letting it go and rolling from there.
Now, looking forward to it. To Dan Miller, of course, the voice of the Lions, the sports director at Fox 2, and they got you covered. Game Day Live, of course, with the pregame show, and of course, Sportsworks wraps it up later on at night. Dan, home opener, it's always special. Make no mistake about that. We've got one of the best home field advantages in the league.
Yep.
There's going to be a little extra something in the building with Ben in the building. And as I said, everybody's got their team they hate the most. I hate the Bears. I'll always hate the Bears. What more can you ask for? This place will be rocking on Sunday.
No, it will be. And obviously, having lost the first game, you don't want to lose to start the season. That's a significant hold of. And you're with Ben coming back. Look, we've been beaten over the head higher off seat with talk about sending Aaron Glenn. No disrespect, but at some point this team's going to have to just move past that and be you are. And I don't think Allen Park thing that's in everybody else. Those guys are gone. I find out how they rebound from a rough performance against Green Bay, and Campbell can do what he's normally done when this team is down. He'll get them back up. I think it's going to be an exciting day. There's no doubt about it, Sean. You mentioned it. It is that home field advantage. It is Ford Field. It is Ben Johnson coming back. But more than anything, it is team needing to get to 1-1 on the season and not starting at an 0-2 hole.
Dan, we were just talking about, I'm not at the point. I think it is premature to say that anybody is done after a little more than a year. I don't care who it is. It could be your guy. It's that guy. Let's give a little time. But let's face it, Caleb Williams has had his struggles, and he's one of those guys, when you force him to stay in the pocket, I think we've seen him be exposed so far in his career. So with that being said, I'm not saying it's done, it's over, it's never going to happen. But if there was a time for this pass rush to get going, it's against a young man like Caleb Williams.
They got to get going, but he's an interesting guy back there because he is really elusive, and you saw that on Monday night. But he also will hold the ball until the point gets sacked. So it's like scares you a little bit. You saw him running that Vikings rush the other night and the weekend escape, but then he make a mental mistake. It's been really what's the issue for him, and give up the sack. So really hard guy for me to figure out. I know that the end results haven't been there, but I do see plays from that throw to Roma Dunze down the right side this past week was sick. Not many people can. But I guess what I would say is I would go into this game expecting his best. And as far as a timetable for him, certainly the Ben Johnson clock is now running because he is tied at the hip to Ben, and Ben is tied at the hip to him. If I don't miss my guess, I also wouldn't be in the back of Ben Johnson's mind. He's thinking, I can win with Tyson Bagent. I win with a quarterback that would go out there and not make the kind of mistakes that Caleb has made. I think we're a ways away, but there's no doubt the clock is ticking. There is frustration in Chicago, but I also still hope that with Ben Johnson there, this guy that they was when they drafted. So I think it's fascinating to watch because it's Ben's first job, and he's got this massive lump of clay to try to make anything. Clay needs some help right now. It might not be Ben Johnson's. So we'll watch it from a distance. Sunday, we hope we just knock down a lot.
Hey, Dan, I just didn't enjoy watching that game last week. I know no Lion fan did. I just didn't see the team I thought I was going to see. I mean, the talent on this team is immense. I know they lost Frank Ragnow and Zeitler. You got a rookie and a second-year guy in there, and it just did not look like they had that feel, that Dan Campbell. It just looked really bad. And it turns out the Packers are really pretty good. But what do you think the Lions do different from last week to this week?
Well, you got to make some plays. I think when I went back and watched the game, I came away from it feeling better but feeling disappointed because, just for example, defense. Go back and look at that first drive that Green Bay had. The Lions defense put them in a 3rd and 6, a 3rd and 9, and a 3rd and 10 on the first drive alone. It's exactly what you want to do as a defense, but you then have to make a play off the field. They didn't do that. Credit Green Bay, they did. Offensively, 3 consecutive times when that was still very much a football game, they got down to the red zone, didn't score touchdowns, 1 interception, 2 field goals, 6 points, 3 trips. You can't do that. And we know, number one, this was the best third down defense in the NFL last year. Number two, offense, they were one of the best red zone teams in the league last year. And I thought that reminded me a little bit of the Tampa Bay game where there were 7 where they got down there and just didn't do it. I would say, looking at it holistically, they didn't get down to the red zone like I think they'd like to. I don't think they like taking 10 plays to get down there. I think one play was like driving like 16 plays or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt they didn't play up to their potential in that first game. And if that's what we're going to see, they're in trouble. I don't think that's what we're going to see because, as you said, they have too much talent. But as I looked at the game, I saw opportunities where if they're even 75% of the team that they were last year, that's a different game.
Yes.
And you just need to finish. They started it. They didn't finish it. Now you need to go out there and make plays. And by all means, give full credit to Green Bay because they did make plays in that game, and they went out there and took it. The Lions didn't give it to them. Green Bay took it. But I can see the template for who this team is. You got to finish the job.
Hey, what scared me, what I didn't like was after Goff threw that interception late in the first half, Green Bay is on the 10-yard line, and the Lions aren't using their timeouts. Like last year's Lions are using their timeouts. They're going to force a punt, and they're going to try to get some points. That is what I didn't like. Dan called one late, but it was 20 seconds left in the half by that time.
I think they thought they would get a shot late. The return obviously took some time. I think there was only 21 seconds or something left on them. But I think he's just trying to walk that line between not giving an offense, which has been making some plays and had a 2-play earlier in the draft, more time to work and making sure that you are, in fact, going to get off the field and get the football back. So I think there's always a coaching balance there between being aggressive but also being smart and trying to make sure that at work, you're going into the locker room where it stands right now, and you're not giving them an opportunity to add something to the lead and get some momentum at the end of the half. So I get what you're saying, but I think it's something to decide based on the feel in the game and whether or not he thinks that his team's in a position to get something done or whether they just need to get in and regroup.
Good morning, Dan. Wonderful to talk to you as always. And I think the biggest conversation coming out of this Packers game was the young rookies at the guard positions, Christian Mahogany and Tate Ratledge. And once you watch the game back, I think it was clear that there was some miscommunications going on throughout the game, and that caused the Lions offense to suffer. Although Jared Goff was still 31 of 39, he was under duress all day. So I think that's the biggest storyline going into this Bears game. From your perspective, what do you think that these young men have to do in order to get better so we don't have another showing like we had this past Sunday?
Well, I'm lucky enough to sit in the booth with TJ and Lomas, and they had offensive linemen going the wrong way several times in that game. And that comes down to communication. And we've heard that all week apart, that they did not have effective communication. So that's something clearly they had to drill down on this week. And you have to hope that that part is cleared up going into this game against Chicago and everybody's at least on the same page. Now, that doesn't mean that these guys aren't going to have some issues along the way. Christian Mahogany will be starting his third game in the NFL. Tate Ratledge will be starting his second game in the NFL. There's going to be bumps in the road, and there's going to be things that teams throw at them that might make their head spin, that will result in them giving up a play and the other team making a play. You just have to try to limit that damage and bring them along as fast as you can. I didn't see anything disqualifying in those guys that I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to work at all. I think they've got extremely high hopes that these guys are going to be a big part of their future going forward. And I just think it was a rough game to come out of the chutes with. And you know, as I said, I think up and down that line, there were some issues in terms of communication. Taylor Decker talked about it. John Morton talked about it, albeit not a lot. Kept a lot of things in-house, but said it was an easy thing for them to clear up. Your point's a good one. They made mistakes. There were problems, and it led to some of the issues that they had. But, you know, number one, clear up the communication. Number two, get that running game going, because that running game is where this offense starts for this team. And that's what frees Jared up to do the things that he does to, you know, get the big plays that were missing in this game from start to finish. The downfield throws, the JMO explosive plays, and things like that. So, it comes down to this. That offensive line has to be better. Those two young guys have to grow up in a hurry. And you got to at least clean up the communication so that everybody knows exactly where they're going when that ball is snapped.
Dan, you are so gracious with your time. Really appreciate it. Have a great call. I know you will with the guys that you work with. And I look forward to the Hockey Elite edition of the Sports Office. Dan Miller, Greg Canner. You know you got to give me a call for that. So let's do it, Dan.
I appreciate it. Looking forward to it, Sean. We're going to dive deep into the Corsi ratings for these guys.
I'll see you, Dan.
You go there. Have a great call, bud. We'll see
Thank
you.
you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, welcome back into Woodward Sports. Appreciate Dan. Dan, no, seriously, I'm not joking. Dan's been over the house to watch hockey.
Yeah.
He loves to play like he gets it.
He does.
Yeah, you can't fake that. He gets it. Like I always call him a hockey elite. He's like, stop with that. And I was like, no, you come on, you get it. So he's been over for a few of the barbecues.
Is he a Caps guy?
In the past.
Is he a Washington Caps guy?
No, Greg Canner is.
Okay.
Greg Canner is definitely like the executive sports producer there.
Oh yeah.
He's a huge Caps guy, no doubt about it. Appreciate Dan as always.